привет, с вами Даша, и мы продолжаем играть в Вампира. И наша задача найти театр Дорис Флетчер. Он у нас здесь не так далеко находится. Итак, мы обходим их, чтобы с ними не сражаться. И мы на месте.
It's locked, all right.
Надо, скорее всего, на какую-нибудь крышу залезть. Но мне кажется, сначала надо вот их убить, иначе они не будут мешаться. Они довольно-таки быстро победились. Теперь можно спокойно осматривать вот эту вот окрестность.
Best be on your way home.
Мы открыли какой-то путь короткий. Как быстро начали эти оборотни побеждаться. Ну, в общем-то, возвращаемся, чтобы найти вход в театр. Тут тупик. Идем теперь здесь. Мы здесь вроде как были. Видимо, где-то здесь вход. Или нет?
Stay back, sir. Oi, you, stop there!
А ты здесь откуда?
Die, vermin!
быстро начинают побеждаться. Я вроде как раньше их... Ну, сложнее было их убить раньше. Мне просто как-то туда не особо и хочется. Ну, видимо, что придется. Но, во всяком случае, очистим, чтобы было легче там ходить.
See them? Stay back! Be strong, brothers!
Я с ними в прошлый или в какой-то там позапрошлый, наверное, или позапрошлый, я уже не помню. Ну, в общем, в 10 или в 11 серии я там с ними воевала и проиграла. И, наверное, я там вылезла, я уже не помню просто. Потому что слишком жестко было. Угроза, которую представляют и хоры. И также записки мы тоже получаем опыт. И сейчас мы отопрем эту дверь, чтобы в следующий раз не пришлось с ними воевать. Хотя, мне кажется, сюда и не надо было. Мне кажется, где-то здесь можно войти. Ну да. Ну, заработали зато опыт. Тоже хорошо.
It's locked.
Итак, мы зашли. Предсмертная записка.
Woe to you, nations of hypocrites. For in front of you stands the tall queen. You can but lower your head, fit only to smirk at her.
Can that be Doris Fletcher's voice? Where does it come from?
Наверное, со сцены. Это, видимо, ее охрана, типа. Куда-то моя кровь внезапно исчезла. Хотя я вроде как ее не использовала. Так, видимо, нам сюда. Но я пока еще туда не пойду. Старый дневник Дорис Флетчер. Ну, вниз мы потом спрыгнем. Сначала же войдем в дверь.
You can but lower your head, fit only to smirk at her soiled feet.
Это она, да? Видимо, здесь можно было просто посмотреть, да?
Will they
Потому что
adore me
спрыгнуть
again
здесь никак
when
нельзя.
they share my fate? For I have
А
been
спрыгнуть можно
raised
там?
through hate.
И снова босс.
I have this thirst for blood.
Просто мне не особо хочется именно к ней сейчас идти. Мне хочется обыскать дом,
I cannot enter.
а потом уже к ней идти. Вот это, видимо, прямиком к ней ведет. Значит, та дверь, видимо, тоже на балкон. Наверное. Ну да.
Woe to you, nations of hypocrites. For in front of you stands the tall queen. You can but lower your head, fit only to smirk at her soiled feet.
Ну, давайте посмотрим, что здесь. Потому что подняться мы сможем. Здесь снова ее охрана по типу. И где его лут? Так это, видимо, на выход, да? Ну, видимо, если я открою дверь на выход, то снова начнется загрузка и придется долго ждать. а потом обратно заходить сюда. Поэтому потом... Понятно. Типа, если бы мы сюда спустились, мы бы увидели закрытую дверь, и нам бы пришлось находить другой путь, как к ней попасть. Ну, собственно, мы сейчас туда и пойдем. Я постараюсь не торопиться, потому что я...
You who dared enter my realm. Are you here to worship or mock me?
I'm here to put an end to the vampire epidemic, Miss Fletcher.
Ah. But Doris Fletcher is no more. She was consumed by this putrid flesh that now enshrouds her.
You feel anger for what happened to you, but I can help you. I'm a doctor, Miss Fletcher.
Doris Fletcher is no more. All that remains are the dreams of the queen she was, and the queen she'll be. Until then, all shall die, for that was her final wish. My blade, hear and obey, for your queen commands you.
Потому что, когда я тороплюсь, собственно, отсюда и так много смертей. Потому что я стараюсь быстро пройти. Но сейчас, наверное, как для разогрева будет смотреть, на что они вообще способны. Что меня предстоит. Что меня ждет вообще. Ну, она, собственно, убивает тут чуть ли не с одного удара. Надо будет посмотреть, сколько мне останется до нового уровня. То есть, когда я возрождаюсь, у меня еще и кровь убавляется. Где посмотреть, я не знаю. Сколько мне осталось до нового уровня. Так, у меня 30 уровень. Посмотрим, как она реагирует на патроны. Надо где-нибудь посмотреть, как перезарядить. Ну, чтобы я самостоятельно перезаряжала, а не чтобы он выстреливал до последнего Ну, то есть, чтобы у него 0 в обойме было патронов, и он сам перезаряжает. Ну, вроде как патроны, пистолет ее нормально тут дамажит. Довольно-таки сильно. Правда, у меня мало патронов. Посильнее, чем ярость. Я немного говорю во время боя, просто у меня нет такой программы, которая типа шумоподавления. Поэтому вы будете слышать, как я на кнопки нажимаю, а вам явно это не очень будет слышно. Ну, приятно слышать.
When science fails you, this elixir will give you faith again.
I'm so sorry.
Я нашла какое-то убежище. Но я здесь вроде как не была, так как здесь ничего не собрано. Ну да. Надо будет, кстати, прокачать, чтобы больше патронов носить. Мне кажется, сейчас лучше урон. Оглушение у нас есть и для... Ну, чтобы палку. Конечно, вот этот вот огненный урон был бы хорош. Как-то вроде как вампир. В принципе, мы и здесь можем полечить людей и заработать еще опыта. Ну, они вообще собаки по сравнению со мной. Как же давно я не убивала таких легких врагов. Кровь как объект зависимости. Мы, кстати, сможем вот это вот пройти. Я не помню, вставляла я этот момент или нет. Здесь, в общем, здесь нужен был 24 уровень, но так мы с легкостью убиваем 24 уровень, то, в принципе, мы можем и это событие выполнить. Это еще где-то Дороти. Вроде Дороти ее зовут. Вот ее надо там убить будет. В принципе, по сравнению с этим 30-уровневым боссом, Дороти как-то кажется намного легче. Ну вот. Еще тут обыщем, смотрим, куда все эти выходы ведут. Полечим тогда людей. Ну, сколько я там лекарства сделано, что мне хватило. Полечим людей. Тогда сохраним игру. И хоть чуть-чуть статистика увеличится.
I have this thirst for blood. Good evening, Mr. Petrescu. What are you doing here?
I could ask.
How do you feel, Mr.
I would not.
Yes, you do. Please, take this. You'll feel better.
I said I don't want anything. But I'll keep this for those who really need it.
Goodbye.
Я с ними
Mr.
общаться
Petrescu.
не буду.
Good evening, my dear colleague.
Я еще что-нибудь
You
куплю.
look ill, Miss Swanborough. I wonder if your concoction will do the trick.
I have no doubt it will. But I'm not against a second opinion, Dr. Reed.
Well, there you have it. Take this remedy, but be discreet. It may damage your business otherwise.
Thank you.
I'd like to see what kind of medicine you're selling.
Так, вот это вот у меня нету. Вот это вот. Вроде остальное все есть. Тогда еще я это куплю. У меня там не так уж и много осталось. Деньги уже закончились.
How are you, boy?
I'm not your boy, all right? Now piss off.
Do you need assistance?
Please. Feeling tired these days.
There you go. Let's hope nobody steals it from you.
Very funny.
Goodbye, young man.
Ended by your false faith.
Good evening, Mr. Whitaker.
It's fuck.
Don't you fear getting sick yourself?
Faith gives me all I need, my son. If I must fall, then so be it.
No doubt your faith will prevail, but let me give you some extra protection against the devil's work. Medicine.
Blessed be your generosity, my son.
I have had enough for tonight. Goodbye.
Good evening, Doctor. Can I help you?
Do you need assistance?
That would be nice of you, Doctor. Who knows what I may have caught during my investigation.
If you persist in investigating the most pox-ridden boroughs of London, you must accept the risks.
Thank you, sir.
Goodbye, Mr. Darby. Farewell. Hello again, miss.
Что-то появилось.
Tell me about Richard Nethercott. I understand he is quite fond of you, Camellia. You don't seem to need my medical attention for now. Very well. Goodbye then.
Многословно прям вообще.
Don't be shy, handsome. What can Christina do for you?
I'm not looking for what you're selling, but I'd like to ask you a few questions, if I may. I'm a doctor, Dr. Reed.
All right then, but be quick, though I usually get paid when I open my mouth.
Какой-то новый человек. Давайте у него здесь поспросим, раз уж новый
Christina,
человек.
have you been examined? The epidemic is spreading fast in London, and you could be exposed, or expose others.
I don't like doctors or hospitals, but I don't like you asking questions.
Considering your line of work, I assure you it is only a matter of time before you have health issues.
If it is going to happen, it will happen. Right now, I need money. That's what's important.
You can put your own life in danger, that's your decision. But what about your clients? If you're contaminated, you will put them in danger too.
And you think that would worry me? If you knew the men I deal with, their health would not be what you'd worry about.
Clayton Darby claims he will expose the crisis in Whitechapel to all of London. Do you believe him?
I believe Clayton's courage will erode with time, until he finally leaves Whitechapel to start another fight somewhere else.
Why this skepticism?
How can you speak about starvation if you've never been hungry? Or about poverty? Or anything else you have never suffered from?
Are you talking from experience?
I've seen your type come here to get a good fuck in a cheap room or a dark alley before going back to their fancy houses in the West End.
Tell me about yourself.
Are you joking with me? People don't usually come to see me for conversation.
I have no interest in your work. I am, however, curious as to what led you into this career.
Short story. The war, exile, and England. This country is not especially welcoming. I've been refused many jobs because of where I am from. I had few options left.
I'm sure you could have found another job, perhaps less lucrative. Maybe you should try again.
And when exactly was the last time you looked for a job? Or worried about the rent, or what, or when you were going to eat?
How are the conditions in Whitechapel these days?
When I think about all the people who died trying to reach England, it seems we escaped a war just to die on foreign shores, hated by all.
Do you need any assistance, Miss Popper?
It depends on the price of your medicine.
I will see you later. Goodbye, miss. Take care of yourself as best you can.
Good quality. Come on, take a look. Don't be afraid. Protect you. For there is no protection against cheap price. Good quality. Come on, take a look. Don't be afraid.
Hello, young man. I'm Dr. Reed, and I would like to ask you a few questions. May I enter, please?
Sorry, no, sir. My father does not like people entering our house, you see.
Your father is worried about you, boy. He asked me to look for you.
So my father actually worries about me then? Okay then. Come on in. I'm Harry, by the way. Is there only pain and suffering in this world? Even my dreams are soaked with glue.
Профессиональные охотники на вампиров.
It's locked.
Ну, пошлите поговорим, может, ему надо какое-то лекарство. Что, скорее всего, и есть. Ну, это ясное дело, что это новый
May I
человек.
ask you a few questions?
I'm not bothered. What could be worse?
Do you need any medical help, young man?
Yes, I do. I feel so tired. I don't know if it's the epidemic, but everything seems so hard.
I will see you later. How do you feel?
I'm fine. I mean, it's not easy every day, but I'm fine. I'm just tired of being sick all the time. If only I could be tough like... Well, you know.
Speaking of which, what can you tell me about your father?
My father is an idiot who makes idiot things. That's all I have to say.
Forgive my bluntness, young man, but you don't seem happy living in Whitechapel.
Why should I? I never wanted to come here in the first place. It was my father's decision. And look around you. Does this look like a nice place to live?
You have a roof over your head, a place to call home. Many people here are not as lucky, you know.
That's exactly what my father says. Harry, you should be grateful for what you've got. But I wasn't even consulted when we moved here.
If life here is so terrible for you, why don't you just leave this place? Have you ever spoken to your father about it?
I don't go outside. It terrifies me so. I went outside once without my father noticing and I saw terrible things. Bloody and frightening things.
So that's why you stay at home all day? For fear of the epidemic?
I'm not afraid of disease or death, Dr. Reed. It's the living I'm afraid of.
Have you any recent news of Nurse Crane and her dispensary?
Nobody dares to enter the dispensary now. Rumors say the nurse has gone mad.
Goodbye, young man. Take care of yourself.
В общем, давайте улучшим. Вот идешь откуда? Один удар и все. Готово. Как же легко все же проходить, когда у тебя уровень намного выше, чем у них. Ну давайте. Тогда мы ее, скорее всего, убьем и еще сможем что-то улучшить. Ай, больно. И все. И ничего больше. Да на медосмотр. Сколько много запасов-то. Я хочу, ну вот так как здесь болезни появляются, да, каждую, ну через день, там через этот, я их лечу, они снова появляются. Я хочу там где-то, ну когда там конец будет или что-то типа того, мне кажется, уже скоро игра закончится, сделать отдельную серию или несколько, чтобы просто улучшить состояние всех районов.
Good evening, Christina.
Change your mind, Mr. Reed?
Do you need any assistance, Miss Popper? I am shocked that you would think I am that sort of man.
Forgive my suspicion. I'm so used to liars with good manners. Thank you, sir.
Goodbye, miss. Take care of yourself as best you can.
Good evening, my...
I'd like to see what kind of medicine.
You killed my father! Prepare, I smell your fear. Behold, Kinslayer, the disgrace of she whose beauty was once renowned. Will she be the queen again once they all share her bitch? Arise and save your queen, my slaves. Hear and obey, for your queen commands you. Attack! Woe unto thee, son of Babylon! Ha! Come to me, my servants! Avenge me! Your blood will be mine! I summon thee, my children of the night. Fight, maim, spit, kill! Ha! My blade shall pierce your villainous heart, dark prince. You killed my father. Prepare to die. My children, my beloved, die. Ha! Wait. I beg you, wait.
What?
I don't want to die.
And I did not come to kill you, Miss Fletcher.
Will you spare me then? Save this cadaverous carcass of mine. Does your heart beat a little faster now? You fancy me then, Doctor?
No, Miss Fletcher. My dead heart will beat for only one.
Ah! Is she pretty? Is she sweet and tender?
To me, yes.
Ah! I hate her already.
I know. And this is partly why you must be destroyed.
But you just said...
That I did not come here to kill you, yes. But I realize now the threat you embody must be stopped.
Will I be remembered? Will you?
You were Doris Fletcher, the greatest actress of her generation. No one can take that from you.
Thank you. And farewell. Ah! Ah!
Farewell, Doris.
Bravo! So dramatic. I love it.
McCullum!
How strange I seem to find you whenever I'm inquiring about that Skal infestation.
I mean you no harm.
I'm not here for you. But once I've put all the pieces of the puzzle together, I'm sure we'll have a little chat, you and me.
Stay away from me, McCullum. You and all your war dogs.
That I can't guarantee, Dr. Reed. But I'll let you go. For now.
I should probably leave the theater right now.
Не пойду. Как это я прямо лут там оставлю? Эй! Ну? А как же лут? Как же то, ради чего я?
The West End should be safe now. But London is not. It would be wise to benefit from the Ascalon's protection while I continue my research during the Great Hunt.
Конечно, мне дали то, что от нее было, но все же. Там, может, еще где-нибудь вокруг можно было собрать. Новый дневник Дорис Флетчер. Ну, пошлите. Снова лут дали. Много, немного, не знаю, но, скорее всего, много того, что у меня и так уже много. А не того, что мне надо.
These people want me dead. I need to leave now.
Как будто я с ними не смогу справиться.
So Doris just needed to be close to her audience to infect them. Contagion through skin. Very disturbing.
Stay away! It's a leech! Kill it! It's one of them!
Я не хочу поддерживать клуб Аскалона. Он мне нафиг не нужен. Есть кто-то, с кем я еще не общалась?
Good evening, sir. I'm Dr. Reed. I believe we're going to be colleagues.
Reed? Yes, I've been informed about your arrival. I'm Waverly Ackroyd. Welcome aboard, I suppose.
Does my arrival inconvenience you in some way, Dr. Ackroyd?
Let us just say that I don't particularly share Dr. Swansea's enthusiasm for hiring you. What we need here are reliable professionals, not overrated dabblers.
Поэтому придется с ним тоже поболтать, так как новый человек.
If you have a problem with me, Dr. Ackroyd, please feel free to tell me.
Dr. Swansea has imposed your presence on this hospital without asking anyone's advice. The benefit of his position. But I don't agree with it.
I know we've never met before, but I believe this hospital could use all the help it can get. You will agree with that, I'm sure.
Oh, but I have heard about you, Dr. Reed. Of course, you can't say the same about me, since I have not wasted my time courting the press.
There is no need for such animosity between us. Don't you think the epidemic is already enough to deal with?
That is one point we could agree on. And that is precisely why I want to be sure that you will be of help to this hospital instead of a burden.
Since your tenure in this hospital is longer than mine, perhaps you can tell me more about this place.
Let's just say I'm tired of the carelessness around me. I have always respected the skills of Dr. Swansea, but over time his enthusiasm has become displaced.
Carelessness? Exactly what are you talking about?
We're here to save lives. The people who trust us are not volunteering for experimentation. They're here to be healed.
I don't intend to run any radical experiments, Doctor. even if I, as any good practitioner should, express an interest in pushing the boundaries of medical research.
Modern medical methods were created through audacity and ego. But there are rules in our line of work, and they're here to protect our patients.
It seems you have bad memories of your military service.
I refuse to see this industrial slaughter as scientific progress. War only reveals the worst in men.
We can at least agree on something, Dr. Ackroyd. I don't know what you've heard about me, but I have already proved my value as a practitioner.
I don't question your skills, Dr. Reed, but your motive. Is it money, fame, or are you truly dedicated?
And what exactly is that supposed to mean?
I served in the war just like you. But unlike you, I did not use the wounded to play the modern sorcerer.
Be careful what you insinuate, Dr. Ackroyd.
I only want you to admit you used those men to improve your theories.
Knowledge has always been and will remain our main weapon, and it has always come at a price. And personal initiative.
It is not a question of initiative, it is a question of integrity. These men and women have put their faith in us, Dr. Reed.
Я, видимо, немного не то выбрал, ну ладно.
Do you need my assistance?
Don't be ridiculous. I'm capable of dealing with this myself. I've just not taken the time to do so.
I will see you later. Thank you for your time. We'll talk later. Good evening, Doctor. I believe we're going to be working together.
Dr. Reed. Dr. Swansea informed us of your arrival, but I could not dare to believe we'd have such good fortune. Such an honor, sir.
Thank you. And you are?
I am Thoreau Strickland, Dr. Thoreau Strickland. I'm a great admirer of your work, Dr. Reed.
Видимо, тоже новый человек.
Please, could you tell me something about yourself?
I'm a great admirer of your work concerning blood transfusion, Dr. Reed. I run my own experiments. I'm convinced it's the future.
What made you choose to be a doctor?
I'm not ashamed to admit you and your work have inspired me. I am honored to have the opportunity to work by your side.
It's always a pleasure to share scientific and medical knowledge with someone eager to learn. I'll be glad to help you if I can.
This epidemic may be the century's most terrible disaster, but I'm convinced that we, as doctors, are the only ones able to defeat it.
I based my technique on my mentor's research. He helped me perfect my method. What is yours?
I'd rather not talk about it. For now, it's just theories and first approach. My process is purely experimental and unsuccessful.
As long as you're cautious and methodical, you may remain empty-handed, but you won't fail.
You're not the first one to warn me, but I am convinced knowledge is the main weapon against the ravages of this epidemic.
What can you tell me about the Pembroke?
Well, it has always been an honor to work with Dr. Swansea. But with your arrival, I can't think of a better opportunity to learn about blood transfusion.
You seem quite optimistic. It's a rare and precious attitude in these difficult times.
I'm convinced that this epidemic is a test of endurance and dedication for us men of science.
Questions remain about our capacity to resolve the situation.
True. Last summer, during the first wave of the epidemic, I used to joke with Milton about the extra work. We're not smiling now.
Do you need help with anything in particular?
Well, yes, maybe. I'm waiting for a batch of products I ordered for my personal research, yet my supplier seems to have vanished.
Do you want me to play the errand boy for you?
Oh no, Dr. Reed. But if you went personally to his shop, what with your reputation and all, he wouldn't dare to refuse the products I need.
I see. Well, give me the address, for I may pass by if I have time. What do you think of Dr. Ackroyd's aversion to modern medical methods?
It's a shame he's so narrow-minded. Dr. Swansea taught me that science is about exploring uncharted territory. I'm convinced that's true.
With the influenza and all that's going on, you should put your differences aside, don't you think? Why is it so difficult to work together?
I believe that if Dr. Ackroyd had been the one to discover the transfusion process, he would be the first to recommend its use.
So you believe it's just a question of jealousy and pride?
Dr. Ackroyd is as proud as he is blinded by his obsolete concept of medical science.
И также, ну, когда я сделаю отдельное, ну, то есть перед, надеюсь, нам скажут, что там, типа, мы не сможем вернуться, это последнее задание, типа, и вы сделаете все, что вам необходимо. Надеюсь, такую штуку будет, ну, такую надпись сделают. И вот, и когда эти серии буду делать, когда их там лечить буду, я, скорее всего, тогда и выполнять задания буду. Возможно, это тоже влияет на статистику.
Tell me, Thoreau, what's the real cause of your dislike for Dr. Ackroyd?
He refuses to admit that your blood transfusion technique is the only way to save Mr. Fiddick. I'm convinced we must use it.
What Dr. Ackroyd really said is that you lack the skill to perform this operation efficiently. Is there anything you have to say about this?
It's a false conceit. Dr. Ackroyd secretly envies your reputation. His jealousy blinds him. I'm not the real target here.
Tell me more about your willingness to experiment with new medical techniques.
Harvey Fiddick is a patient suffering from a severe injury that could cripple him if not treated correctly. I'm convinced your blood transfusion technique could help him.
What is it you really want? To save him, or to prove your point?
Fair question. I want nothing but to save my patient, Dr. Reed. Especially since I know Mr. Fiddick's story.
This personal involvement could also appear to be a lack of impartiality. You must know that a good surgeon must remain neutral.
I agree. But that does not excuse Dr. Ackroyd's behavior, a man who did not even take time to converse with his patient.
Do you think keeping his distance was a mistake?
All I know is that I'm taking care of human beings with desires, hopes, and fears. Not some biological machine comprised of blood, bones, and flesh.
Tell me Mr. Fiddick's story.
Our first diagnosis was compromised because Mr. Fiddick lied to us about the real origin of his injury. He first claimed it was an accident.
But why would he hide such crucial information from us?
Because he is a proud father, ashamed of putting his children at risk because of his own negligence.
Do you need my medical attention, dear colleague?
I would have been confused if anyone other than you had asked that question, Dr. Reed. But your help is welcomed.
I will see you later. Goodbye, Dr. Strickland.
Like a book. I never could keep anything from her.
Good evening, Mr. Fiddick.
Good evening, Dr. Reed. Any news about my operation?
Tell me about your injury, Harvey. Why do you feel so guilty about it?
My wife died because of me. And now I may lose everything because I've been careless enough to hurt myself. What an arsehole.
How could your job be responsible for your wife's death?
I was working a double. She went out to bring me a hot meal and got caught in a German bomb raid.
You can't hold yourself responsible for your injury, Mr. Fiddick, unless you tried to hurt yourself.
Of course I didn't hurt myself. But I can't work until my arm is fixed. My children need to eat, Doctor.
Tell me more about the death of your wife, Harvey.
1915. I was in the army, building workshops for the Royal Flying Corps. Helen was happy I wasn't sent to the front.
What happened?
The Germans sent Zeppelins to bomb the construction site, but they missed their target. My wife was bringing my dinner when the bombs fell.
I'm sorry for your loss. So many died during the bombings. I served in France and witnessed the carnage there.
I would like to say that she didn't suffer. Truth is, I have no idea. I just know that I'm all that me kids have. Poor little bleeders.
How are your children after losing their mother?
They were smaller then. The only good thing about this is My Helen didn't bring them with her that night.
Goodbye for now, Mr. Fiddick. I'll see you later.
I will not let you...
You are...
Good evening, sir. Can I help you?
Unless you're here to fix my face. No. I don't think you can help me.
I'm Dr. Reed. I've recently taken the position of head surgeon here. War injuries, am I right?
You guessed right, Doctor. German shell took my pretty little mug right off. But they still call me Thomas Elwood.
How is your stay with us, Mr. Elwood?
Oh, it's bliss. I just escaped death in the trenches to be surrounded again by the moans of the dying.
Can I ask you precisely why you're a patient here?
It's the pain, sir. The drugs don't work. It just hurts under the scars, if you get my drift.
Can I do anything for your pain?
Nurses gave me a bunch of pills. No effect. Told you. It's like the flames are under my skin, burning away.
Who is treating you? Is someone in particular looking after your case?
Nobody since the old and tired doctor spoke to me. Started to think I was forgotten about. Wouldn't blame you.
You don't seem worried by that.
My face hurts so much more when I smile or cry. I've learned it's easier not to speak. But be assured I'm smiling inside.
Why do you feel responsible for the injury, Thomas? What really happened?
I wasn't disfigured by any German shells. It happened during my leave. It was an accident.
Why lie about it?
Come on. It's one thing to come back disfigured by the Germans, and it's another to get injured in an accident that could have happened to anybody.
You know you can't hide forever. One day you'll have to face your loved ones. Until that day, you have no chance of real recovery.
My friends all died in the trenches. It's shameful enough to be alive with these stupid scars. I don't want my children to see me like this.
Tell me what really happened then.
I went with a whore in Rouen. Dead drunk I was. The hotel was a shithole. There was a fire that night.
Did you start the fire? Were you trying to avoid going back to the front? That's not uncommon, you know.
No. It's just that I was asleep when the flames reached the room. The girl was long gone. Bitch never woke me up. Left me to burn.
How close are you to Miss Horcroft? Are you aware that she thinks she is a vampire?
To wait for her next nibble is the best reason to stay here. Every time she approaches my bed, she treats me like something tasty. A normal person.
Aren't you afraid? She may hurt you if the game goes too far.
She's quite harmless, I can assure you. Her head's broken inside is all. While I'm busted on the outside. But she's still beautiful. Living proof that there's hope for me.
So do you let her bite you? You know that's not sanitary.
And why not? She's only supping a few drops of my blood. And the pain, it's real for once.
She could decide to bite less willing patients.
Then it's another good reason for me to stay here, Doctor.
You do realize she's mentally disturbed. It's called the Cotard syndrome. She truly believes she's a vampire.
In her madness, she never refers to my scars. And frankly, if I could, I'd join her world. It seems much more fun than the real one.
You told me before you don't want your children to see you like this. Do you have any other family?
My sister Agatha has raised my nippers since their mother died. Don't want them to look at me like this.
How could children despise their father injured in the war?
What do you think? They saw me. Once. My poor angels left the room crying. They keep on having nightmares every week, my sister told me.
Your sister's not a child. I'm sure she has nothing but respect for a wounded soldier, and you are her brother.
You don't know my sister, Agatha. She may be young, but she's all discipline and morality. If she ever found out what really happened...
She doesn't have to know.
She's a sly one, my sister. One day she'll find out the truth and knock 7 bells out of me. Nah. I'm better off here.
Where were you stationed, sir? Did you serve for long?
I really don't want to talk about all this shit.
No offense. I was pushing too much. I served in France myself. I just wanted to know what happened to you.
You were an officer, weren't you? Then I doubt we fought the same war, sir. No offense.
Soldier, do you need assistance?
Not really. I think I caught something in this bloody hospital. I swear I'm dead, yet smiling inside, Dr. Reed.
I will see you later. Goodbye for now, Mr. Elwood.
Давайте зайдем к Сонче. Мы, собственно, уже тут.
What news, Jonathan? I've heard you've now joined the vampire elite of London.
Did Elizabeth tell you?
So it's Elizabeth now. My. Things are moving quickly. I turn my back for a moment and away you go.
How's the situation at the Pembroke?
We're still holding out. Question is, for how long? What we really need is hope, Jonathan. Hope for a better tomorrow.
I may have found the source of the contagion. Doris Fletcher, the actress. Thankfully, in the end, she was destroyed by fire.
Really? Oh, please, do tell me more.
Doris was a heavily mutated skull. Almost a new breed entirely. It's as if the disease had completely altered her mind and body. Highly contagious.
As if the disease had taken control of her will?
Yes. Once a beautiful and brilliant woman, she became motivated by hate alone.
Oh, she was a beauty. I met her when she visited the hospital to cheer up the sick. Too bad the fire destroyed her. But it was probably for the best.
Have you heard of similar cases?
No, I don't think so. Except, perhaps, it reminds me of an old report from the Brotherhood. Well, more an article, really.
What was it about?
The author, a friar, referred to a rare form of contagion in a skull he observed during the Black Death. The carrier was always female. They called them Icors.
Have you seen Lady Ashbury recently?
Yes, she popped in yesterday. Told me about your new friends in the West End.
Just a courtesy visit, then?
Yes. And no. She was en route to the docks, I think, following a lead concerning your maker.
I'll come back later. Thank you, Edgar.
Always a pleasure to see you, my friend.
Давайте зайдем в наш кабинет. О,
It's alive.
вырос.
It's alive. And it needs a name. I shall call you Lisa.
Вот какая-то сабля появилась. Давайте, может, это увеличим. Потому что там кровь уже у нас 2-го уровня, а обычные эти только 1-го. Ну и все, собственно.
Overwhelmed by this horrifying...
Good evening, Dr. Tippett.
Dr. Reed.
Do you need any...
Yes, indeed.
I have no doubt about it, but you are still ill all the same. Please, Take this medicine.
I appreciate your concern, Dr. Reed. To be honest, I just did not take the time to diagnose myself.
Goodbye, Dr. Tippett.
Ну, давайте тогда поговорим. Может, ну, чуть больше времени, тогда серия будет.
Elizabeth, what are you doing here?
I've been formally asked to witness your triumph, my dear. After all, isn't it the natural role of a woman to support her man in victory?
But it's you who insisted I join the Askalon.
Please forgive my giddiness. I'm just overcome by the thrill of finally being allowed within these hallowed halls.
You certainly have an inquisitive mind. It's quite something. Elizabeth Ashbury, only you can make me smile in these difficult times.
And the same to you, Jonathan Reed. Now go have your little chat with the chairman. I can see he's practically bursting to hear your report.
Welcome back to the Askalon Club, Lancebearer. Please tell us the good news. Have you put an end to the epidemic?
My hypothesis was correct. Doris Fletcher was the source of the contagion in this part of town. She was probably the first to be infected.
And you cleansed her before the hunters, I've been told. Well done, Dr. Reed. You thrust your lance and pierced the very heart of the corruption.
I'm just a doctor.
The important thing is, we won a major battle for the survival of London. For that, we salute you.
Thank you, my lord.
Now, I have another task for you. One of the utmost importance. Perhaps even more so than the previous.
I'm listening.
It's time for you to perform a most sacred duty for the club. I want you to recruit a new vampire.
Recruit a new vampire? Are you sending me on some sort of diplomatic mission?
Not exactly. I want you to make Aloysius Dawson the Ekon he deserves to be.
I'm sorry, but I can't.
Are you questioning my orders?
No. It's just... I'm not sure I'm ready to have another progeny after what happened with my sister.
The rebirth of Aloysius Dawson is a necessary step in our campaign to ensure the safety of London.
How would you like me to proceed?
Aloysius is waiting for you at the Dawson estate. Once the deed is done, I'll join you there to celebrate this momentous occasion.
Before I go, I have a few questions.
All right, I'm listening.
Why Aloysius Dawson?
Because he is about to die. And he just may be the most influential man in England. After me, of course.
Did he choose me?
No, I did. My decision is very recent, to say the least, but it is entirely mine.
Does he know I'm coming?
He can't wait to become your progeny, Dr. Reed. Especially now that you have shown how strong your lineage is through your sister.
How would you like me to proceed?
Don't worry. Aloysius has had many years to prepare himself. He has studied our kind for decades.
So shall I just let him drink my blood?
Yes. Aloysius will gratefully sup on your blood. His heart will slow, then stop. But he will rise again as one of us, an immortal.
Is there any danger?
Our blood alters a mortal body so deeply that some don't survive the metamorphosis. They die for good. But Mr. Dawson has been preparing himself for a long time.
You invited Lady Ashbury. Wouldn't that be breaking one of your cardinal rules? No women allowed.
Not allowed as members, no. But considering the circumstances, I thought you'd like to have her here to witness your triumph.
So it's a temporary admittance, then?
Something of a bargain, considering the crisis we're currently facing.
Goodbye, Lord Redgrave.
Are you all right, Jonathan?
Lord Redgrave has just ordered me to turn Aloysius Dawson, to make him my progeny.
I see. And how do you feel about this?
I'd like your advice on the matter.
The real question here is, why has his lordship given you this task?
Do you think it's some sort of trap?
Do you really want to know what I think about this?
I do, yes.
To make an immortal of a soulless blackguard like Aloysius Dawson will only lead to a disaster for London. The man is already dead inside.
Should I refuse? Perhaps politely suggest that Lord Redgrave turn the man into a vampire himself.
Don't you dare, my dear. According to what I've recently discovered, his lordship could kill you for even broaching the subject.
Really? Why?
I've recently found proof that the Earl of Bristol is of lesser lineage and only capable of creating skulls.
Please tell me more about your recent investigation.
As long as you lower your voice.
Are you sure your information about Redgrave is correct? He says he's the progeny of the great knight William Marshall, who lived some 9 centuries ago.
That's a lie. Lord Redgrave is unable to create anything but skulls, if the poor souls survive at all.
How can you be sure the information was correct?
I made the acquaintance of a most interesting informer while investigating your maker, from whom I learned the truth about Lord Redgrave.
Why so vindictive? You suddenly sound like you're angry.
Forgive me, Jonathan. I hate myself for it, but I feel such pride in my discovery. I'm afraid I just can't help it.
Which is?
He did serve William Marshall. And yes, the blood he covets as a token does truly belong to that legendary knight. But he was never his progeny. His lineage is not so noble.
What would happen if I made Dawson an Ekon like myself?
You would add a powerful immortal into a suffering world. An immortal who already craves authority.
Maybe I could teach him control, like you taught me. Lead him down the right path.
Mr. Dawson spent his life searching for a way to cheat death. I'm sure he has spent decades dreaming of how he'd spend eternity as a tyrant.
What would you have me do about Dawson?
The man is dangerous. Did you know he plans to build a wall to separate the healthy rich from the sickly poor? Do not make him your progeny.
What would you do?
The man's dying already. Let the Reaper harvest the rotten fruit that is his soul.
Goodbye for now, Elizabeth.
Goodbye, my dear. Please, be careful.
Ну, так как мы по типу агенты, мы поступим по совету Элизабет, но уже в следующей серии.
It looks like vampires have to obey Mendel's laws when producing progeny. Powers pass from one generation to another. That's why Dawson wants me to sire him.
Я вроде как улучшить уже ничего не могу. Ну да.
Good evening, Dr. Reed.
Do you need medical help?
You would save...
Don't worry.
I cannot imagine the...
Just come into your house.
Good evening,
I won't.
Do you need
It's a little...
What can I
hope we talk.
You need some rest. Hello again.
John!
Do you need my...
Oh,
I think...
I'm not...
Goodbye.
Goodbye. Disgusting smell. Oh, I can't continue like this.
Can I help?
Yes.
I will...
Make...
I must go. Hello? Is anyone there?
Jonathan, is that you? I did not know you were back in London. Oh, my dear Johnny, I'm so sorry for your loss. Mary was such a sweetheart.
Thank you, Venus. May I come in?
I was going to bed, actually.
I'm sure you can spare me a few minutes. For old time's sake.
Of course you may enter, Jonathan. I'm so sorry for your loss, Jonathan.
Дневник Венеры.
It's locked, all right.
At least you survived the Great War. I feared the worst. You know that you're not always welcome here. But at this hour of night?
Давайте поговорим.
It's a pleasure to see you again, Venus.
So you returned from the war in one piece too. Thank God. My Clarence is back home too.
How is the old rascal?
Probably outside, chasing ghosts and chimeras. Clarence has changed a lot since he returned from the war, you know.
Do you need my medical attention?
It would appear that old habits die hard, my dear. I would appreciate your help as always.
I will see you later. How have you been since the last time we met? How long has it been? 3 years now?
I've done my duty, like all British women. You have no idea what it was like to wait for months without knowing if I'd still be a wife or a widow.
I understand. Luckily, this part of town has been saved from the worst of the bombings, from what I've seen.
Yes, and it's also true about the epidemic. The flu has killed here too, of course, but not on such a large scale as in other parts of town.
Have you noticed anything peculiar about the neighborhood recently?
You mean except for your return to town? No. Oh, and again, Jonathan. Please accept my condolences for your sister.
Thank you, Venus. It was so sudden, and I've been so busy, I haven't spoken to anyone about it.
I wish I could have assisted at the funeral, but you know, it's been so quick. And what with the epidemic in the streets?
There's no need to apologize, my dear. It's normal, considering the circumstances.
No, it's not. I am sure that Clarence has not even thought to present you his condolences. He is too busy with his penny dreadful stories.
Why is my return so surprising?
It's more an unexpected happy end than a surprise. You and Clarence, back from the war. You have no idea how hard it's been for me.
Venus, why do you worry so much about your family's reputation?
Everyone laughs at Clarence now. And they avoid me because they believe I share his insane opinions. I'm a leper in my own community.
Tell me about Clarence's obsession with vampires.
It drives me so crazy it makes my stomach hurt. I was so relieved to have him back. But I quickly realized he'd lost his mind in France.
I understand your irritation, Venus. But you have to accept the trauma Clarence endured on the battlefield.
The question is simple, Jonathan. Is my husband mad? Yes or no? Do vampires exist? Or is Clarence a lunatic?
So you don't believe Clarence?
If poor Mary, bless her soul, had tried to convince you of the existence of bloody vampires, would you have believed her? Seriously?
The important question is, what do you really think of your husband?
I'm tough, Jonathan. He should have told me the horrors he witnessed, however appalling it was, instead of inventing a fantasy about blood-drinking monsters.
What do you think about Clarence squandering his fortune on his obsession?
Soon we'll be poor, and forced to sell the house. Where will we go? In which filthy, infected part of town will we end up? I'm so afraid.
Goodbye for now.
I remember when Mary came here with her
Ну, я
husband
сейчас
and her
сюда
son.
же вернусь, только возьму лекарство. Итак, я снова тут, но уже с
What do you need
лекарством.
from me, Jonathan?
Do you need my medical attention?
It would appear that old habits die hard.
And I'm happy to give it to you, as always.
Thank you, Jonathan.
Ну, давайте, раз уж я к ней уже не буду возвращаться,
What
сразу
can you
и
tell me
спросим.
about Aloysius Dawson?
I never met the man. I know Clarence tried to contact him recently, but I don't know why.
Goodbye for now. No invitation is needed to enter this building. That can't be a good sign. No sign of a struggle. It seems Charlotte's friend knew the killer and let him in.
Любовное письмо Эмили.
Emily wanted to become a vampire. Something must have gone wrong. Someone is responsible for this mess. But who?
Ну что же, на этом все. Ссылка на плейлист с группы ВК в описании. Всем пока.